accessibility and making sure that as many people, especially disabled folk, can consume media.
Our little reach team, there's an app out there called Clubhouse. And it's something interesting with this new app, Clubhouse. People maybe, so in beta form right now, but it's coming out, where you can have seminars, kind of like an open podcast, but thousands of people can listen in and listen to creators or anyone. And you don't even have to be a creator to be on it. You can just talk about your life and, business or whatever you want to talk about, and people will listen. Do you love the app so far? I know us two have been on it and have expressed our feelings and what we feel about life on topics that we were talking about. But I think Clubhouse, in my opinion, is going to be the next big thing and the next big social media platform that people will, without being famous, will be able to be heard. And situations like you'll be able to express your, chronic illness and situations that you weren't able to do before to a bigger audience.
Yeah, I think there's two elements of Clubhouse that are really great, and there's a couple that I'm not the biggest fan of right now. I don't know if that's because they're in beta that they're still working on, but I'll start with the not so great things before I get into the great things. So Clubhouse is an audio only app. There's no feed, there's no, hierarchy. There's nothing that lives on your profile in terms of like content that can always be there. So I think it's really interesting that it's formatted like that. But the issues that I have with it are the lack of accessibility tools involved. So part of that has to do with, if somebody in the disabled community is unable to see the page, how can they navigate that Clubhouse page? If somebody who's hard of hearing in the disabled community, how are they going to participate in an audio only app? So a lot of the content and the way that I've made content has kind of shifted to be more about accessibility and making sure that as many people, especially disabled folk, can consume media in the same way that us able-bodied people may not think about on a day-to-day basis. So that is something that frustrates me about Clubhouse. I hope that as soon as they go out of beta that they have more tools and resources. And I expect this, but maybe I have high hopes. The other thing I don't really love is the exclusivity, but also it's a marketing ploy. Obviously, it's more exclusive, more people want to get on. And I do think that Clubhouse is going to start to evolve in a way where we talked about briefly, like when you are creating a brand on social media, you kind of want to take this omni-channel approach, right? Like on TikTok, people can come find me for these like relatable videos. On Instagram, they can come find me for these snapshots and also like maybe more like photography specific content and more content that's meaningful in terms of the captions that I write are kind of like mini blog posts, honestly. My stories are my every day-to-day snapshot, and my YouTube channel is like a more personal conversation that I have with myself on film. So Clubhouse is unique because it is a candid, non-edited conversation that you're having with a bunch of other people. Maybe you know them, maybe you don't. But what I think is going to start happening is once you start to generate a big platform on there, you are going to be able to kind of get these brand sponsorships, to have talk shows. So whether that's like a clean beauty product, and we're talking about all things clean beauty, right? I can go in and say, oh yeah, this is the, clean beauty brand that I love, and I have mast cell activation syndrome. And for anybody who has that knows the horror, like kind of shit show of a illness that it is, and that it kind of makes you have these like allergic reactions to a bunch of random things. So like it's very interesting to navigate, and sometimes that can be triggered by beauty products. I've also been in rooms where we've talked about like completely living like holistic healing and plant-based healing. So if a food company, a vegan food company wants to hit me up and say, hey, Gigi, like we want you to talk about how you've used this product. That's like, let's pretend it's like Miyoko's cheese, right? I use that like every single week. It's just a staple in my diet. If they want to sponsor me having a conversation about certain recipes that I have or certain vegan foods that I have, they easily could. So that's what I think it's going to eventually evolve into. And I'm not sure if there's going to ever be replays. I don't know. I think it would get very overwhelming because like there's such a high demand and honestly kind of like saturated market right now for podcasts that I just don't think that the replayed conversations would be able to live. And then also it's like, are they going to, sometimes these rooms last for hours. Like, is it going to be a 3-hour thing that lives, or is it just going to be a stream and then boop, it's done. So I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed these short clips, don't forget to go on Mic'd for Success on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Music to check out the full podcast. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, and put comments down below on things you want to hear in the future.